Hi. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, wait, did that happen the way I remember it? And you're somehow apologizing for something somebody else did. That's not typical confusion. That's called gaslighting. Manipulation thrives in chaos and confusion, but a clear perspective helps break its power. So let's take a look at what's really happening. Gaslighting is one of the most psychologically destabilizing tactics manipulators use because instead of arguing an issue, the manipulator begins to rewrite reality itself. Your memory, your perception, your interpretation of events, it's all suspect. It often starts with something simple. You say, yesterday you said you'd call me. And they say, I never said that. And you're pretty sure they said they'd call. So you try again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said you'd call. And the response is a little more intense. You're remembering it wrong. You twist things. You do this all the time. And now the conversation is no longer about a phone call, but the conversation is about whether you can trust your own mind. And that's the pivot point in gaslighting. Now, gaslighting can also be pretty subtle. You're expressing a thought or some feelings about a situation that actually doesn't have anything to do with the other person. You're just expressing yourself. And they start saying things like, you've never thought that. Or, that's how you've always felt. Or, that's always been important to you. Or, you know, that is not true. Now, this is not someone who cares about you, validating feelings or thoughts or helping you grapple with something. They're contradicting what you're expressing, and they're telling you that they know you, your thoughts, your feelings, what you value better than you do. And you may think, oh my gosh, do they even know me? And actually, that would be a good thought. But too often we come away questioning our own minds, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs. Now, gaslighting happens in private. It happens in front of other people. Gaslighting happens in front of you. So the manipulator is talking to other people about you, your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions, and they're twisting it. And you're kind of stuck because you don't feel like you can correct in that particular situation, or you could contradict what's being said. Gaslighting can happen when you're not even around. And if it happens enough, the manipulator gets the people around you to start towing their line. Gaslighting works because it erodes your confidence in yourself, in your own perceptions. And when you start to doubt your perceptions, then you are easier to control. You may find yourself doing things you've never done before, like replaying conversations over and over again in your mind, second guessing your memory, asking yourself if, maybe it is you overreacting, apologizing, even when you were not the one at fault. And this isn't because you're weak, it's because your reality has been repeatedly challenged. Now, the most damaging part of gaslighting is the confusion it creates. Your instincts say this isn't right, but the other person is insisting your interpretation is the problem. And you're not only questioning your own mind, your memory, your perceptions, but you're wondering if you can trust yourself. So healthy relationships involve disagreement. It's just the nature of it. You get two people together in the same room, and at some point there's going to be a disagreement. But it does not systematically or involve the systematic distortion of reality. Healthy people may say, I remember that differently. But the manipulator says, that never happened. You're imagining things, and you're the problem. And there's a huge difference between those two responses, and it matters. Now, there's another huge difference I'd like to point out. It's easy to look at these things and give them clinical terms, begin to understand what is happening. There's value in that. I think that's important. That's not a bad thing. However, even though the words may be accurate, they do not come close to describing the experience. The words can almost feel sterile compared to what it feels like when this is happening. The words do not begin to describe how it feels when you start to question your own sanity. How many times has this happened? And you've perhaps tried to talk to somebody else about it, and they just don't get it. Or worse, they blame you for the situation, you for the misunderstanding. And then you're just left feeling more alone. I get it. It's difficult. It's scary. And it's not you. If this is something you've experienced, leave me a comment below. I'd like to hear. And there are a few things I would like you to remember. Your perception is not automatically wrong just because somebody else insists that it is. Gaslighting depends on you being more willing to doubt yourself than you're willing to doubt the manipulation or the manipulator. Recognizing what is going on, that's the start to breaking the power. Because once you see gaslighting for what it clearly is and develop some skills that can safeguard you against these unsafe people and their tactics, it becomes much more difficult for someone to rewrite your reality. And you are not alone. In our series, The Anatomy of Emotional Control, we've looked at weaponizing vulnerability, and today we looked at gaslighting. Now, there are other tactics that manipulators like to use in these relationship dynamics, and one is called DARVO. That is deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offend. And next time, we're going to delve into DARVO. In the meantime, click all those buttons below, the like, subscribe. Definitely leave me a comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts about gaslighting, about your experiences. Oh, also, click on the link below because I've got a free resource for you. It is a questionnaire that can help you identify whether some of these unhealthy relationship patterns are evident in the relationship dynamics that you are experiencing. So click on that link, get that free resource, leave me a comment, and look for the next episode where we delve into DARVO. I look forward to seeing you then.